Good morning to all. In the first class, we are going to discuss the topic Indian Contract Act 1872. The Indian Contract Act came into force on 1st September 1872. Until the year of 2019, this act was applicable to the whole of India except to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The reason for this exclusion of the state of Jammu and Kashmir was that Article 370 of the Constitution had provided some special privileges and greater autonomy in the administration of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. But the central government, by passing an act in the parliament in the year 2019, has revoked the special privileges which were given to the state of Jammu and Kashmir earlier. And as a result of this act, like many other acts, this act has also become applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir from August 2019 onwards. Now let's see the definition of a contract. According to section 2 subsection H, an agreement enforceable by law is a contract. I repeat the definition of contract. An agreement enforceable by law is a contract. A contract is nothing but an agreement which is legally enforceable. In the definition, we find that a contract essentially consists of two elements. One is an agreement and the other one is legal enforceability. Agreement plus legal enforceability together forms a valid contract. Legal enforceability means something that can be exercised in a court of law. So, a contract is essentially an agreement, but all agreements cannot be termed as contract, or all agreements are not contracts. Only the agreements which are legally enforceable can be termed as a contract. This is the definition of an agreement. According to section 2 subsection E, every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is an agreement. I repeat, every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is an agreement. An agreement is nothing but it is reciprocal promise. Reciprocal promise means a promise made in exchange for another promise. Then what is a promise? A promise means an offer once accepted, it becomes a promise. Offer plus acceptance together forms a promise. Or to put in another way, it is the sum total of offer and acceptance. Promise is the sum total of offer and acceptance. So, to constitute a promise, there must be an offer made by one party and the same must be accepted by the person to whom such an offer is made. This is one example for an agreement. Mr. A promises to Mr. B to sell his car for rupees 5 lakh and Mr. B accepts to purchase it for the said amount. There occurs an agreement. Next is essential elements of a valid contract. For a contract to be valid, certain elements must be present in the contract, or certain criteria must be satisfied or fulfilled in order to form a valid contract. These criteria are known as essential elements of a valid contract. And the first essential element is offer and acceptance. To constitute a valid contract, there must be a valid offer made by one person and the same must be accepted by the person to whom such an offer is made. There must be one person who is the offerer and there must be another person who accepts the offer which is being given to him by the offerer. A same person cannot be the offerer and the acceptor at the same time. There must be at least two parties in order to make a contract. Second essential element is intention to create a legal relation. For a contract to be valid, the contracting parties should have an intention to create a legal and a binding relationship between them. The third essential element is the lawful consideration. In a contract, both parties to the contract should give something and get something. That something given or obtained is the consideration, or in other words, consideration is the price for which the promise of the other is bought. Consideration is nothing but that itself is the price for the promise of the other is bought. Or in simple terms, it is the price paid by one party to the other party for getting his promise. Next essential element is capacity of the contracting parties. To constitute a valid contract, the parties to the contract must be competent to get into a contract. Only persons who have attained the age of majority, or the people of sound mind and the people not disqualified law, are expected to enter into a valid contract. Only the persons who have attained the age of majority and the people who are not disqualified by any law and the people who are having sound mind are expected to get into a valid contract. Similarly, the persons who have not attained the age of majority and the people of unsound mind and the people who are disqualified by any law to which they are subject are not expected to enter into a valid contract. They are incompetent to get into a contract. Next essential element is the free consent of the contracting parties. For a contract to be valid, there must be consent of the contracting parties. That consent should be freely obtained, or it should not be a forced consent or consent obtained by any other means. It should be freely obtained. Both parties should have entered into the contract by their own will. That consent should not be a forced consent. Next essential element of the contract is the lawful object. For a contract to be valid, it must be formed with a lawful object. Object means the purpose for which the contract has been formed. The object of the contract should be a lawful one, and it should not be fraudulent or illegal or immoral, or it should not be opposed to the public policy, and it should be legally binding in all aspects. Next essential element of the contract is certainty of meaning. Certainty of meaning means the terms and conditions of the contract must be definite and absolute, or it must be very clear, and it should not be vague or loosely defined. There should not be any ambiguities in the terms and conditions of the contract. It should be capable enough to be understood. The next essential element is possibility of performance. A contract should be capable of being performed, and an agreement to do an impossible act does not result in a valid contract, as it cannot be enforced in a court of law. Next essential element is that the agreement should not be an expressly declared void agreement. There are certain agreements which are expressly declared as void agreements by the law, as they are against the law of the land. Agreements involving such nature will not result in a valid contract. No one is permitted to get into or to form such agreements as they are against the law of the land, or as they are expressly declared as void agreements by the law itself. And the last essential element is writing and registration. All the legal formalities, like in written form, the contract in written form, or compliance of registration, etc., must be duly observed for making a valid contract, or making the contract a valid one. These all are the various elements of a valid contract. Thank you.